Hello everyone, my name is El Parnaso, and for today's video I'm gonna share with you the secret technique that allowed me to help the final match at Nationals. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share the channel with your people so we can grow. Now, why I'm saying that it was a secret technique? Let's talk about it, because it's more important than you will ever realize. So, and you can see it right there here at the beginning. A little bit of context here. You can see obviously this is myself right here with Jamie Fiensmith, but here my opponent is playing Fairy Tale. So here we need to see and understand some context. Because it is already the finals and because we live in a globalized world, I already knew ever since the beginning of top 8 that there was a player called Jeremy that was playing Fairy Tale Magistus. Now, because of how you need to wait for the rounds to happen at top cut, or because you need to wait for everyone else to put the sleeps in order to play, and because you are waiting then for top 4, and then maybe the other top 4 matches is still happening, so then you're waiting for the finals. There is something there that is called, that you will say is dead time, like just you waiting for the match to happen, right? For the next match to happen. However, I will say that that time is anything but dead time, because it can help you to take the most advantage as you can of the information that you are seeking from your possible opponents. For example, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know anything about the new Fairy Tail cards. So, and even though there is this different lapsus of dead time, it's not that much of time. So how can I use that time to the most advantage that I can against the Fairy Tale deck, a deck that I don't know anything about? Well, I can't go and try to read all the Fairy Tale cards because I don't know how many of those cards are actually relevant. So what I did is try to go straight and look for deck profiles of the deck with people that either have success for the deck or are successful players in general when it comes to this game, right? And even though I couldn't check out everything, thanks to that, I could realize that they have a really big value on searching extenders. Like, I had that universal idea, which is a universal action of the game, trying to make your resources to get your other resources via searching or special summoning is something of high quality value, not only in Fairy Tail, but any deck that can use it. But at least here, I could confirm that Fairy Tail was really focused on searching those cards that can continue the plays, right? Either by adding or by sending the spells from the graveyard. I couldn't read, however, all the Fairy Tail cards that I was seeing in the profiles. So that was still a problem. I could see the kind of the universal axioms that Fairy Tail was focusing most to try to go and attack those axioms, but I still need to make sure of what the Fairy Tail cards are actually doing. So we have the first secret technique, right? To take advantage of the dead time during top cut. Now that you have, thanks to a globalized world, all the information when it comes to what kind of deck each player in the top cut is using. Like, you can just grab your cell phone and chill in YouTube, or I don't know, whatever page that you use, to confirm what kind of environment, what kind of logic those decks use, and what kind of cards they are picking from all the engine, right? So the second secret technique, you are going to see right here. You're going to see it right here. So my opponent is normal summoning the Luna, and he just activates effect, right? And here is the other secret technique. So pay attention. Did you notice? Did you see the secret technique? Well, obviously, the secret technique is to read the card. Like, I know that it sounds so like obvious, like, wait, I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Why I wouldn't read the cards, right? Why why you even need to tell me that? Because at the end of the day, we are all humans here, and that's understandable. Even to me, it's going to happen that I'm not going to follow this rule all the time. But the ideal scenario for you is whenever you are not sure about a card or what it does, or straight up is the first time you're seeing the card, just read the card, especially in Top Code when there is no time anymore. But in general, just try to read the card really quick in a really concise way and really focus so you can get the information that what the card is actually doing. You can see here that even though Luna Fairy Tail is an old card, I want to make sure of what kind of effect is actually being used. And also a reminder of how the bounce effect works. So I can just have that in my mind already ever since the beginning of his turn for the beginning of my turn eventually, right? So it's really important to do that. And as you can see, when you took these two techniques, using the advantage of the dead time to gain and then reading the goddamn card, you can make a conclusion here. The deck is really focused on search the resources when it comes to the fairy tale development. I knew already that they have an extender that it can be summoned whenever they have an 8500 attack, because it's the little few things that I could actually read when I was taking advantage of my daytime, seeing the patterns of the cards or the fairy tale cards that usually are chosen for the building of the deck. And I also understand that when it comes to the eternal actions of the game, being able to search a card from your engine and taking the most advantage that you can of your normal summon are very, very, very key points when it comes to a lot of decks. And seeing that Fairy Tail Luna is an effect from the normal summon, I could see and interpret that the value of the card resolving was very high and very important for the development of the deck if they don't have whatever they're searching. And because of this, and then again the secret technique, making sure of that you are actually knowing what is happening here, like you can see, is very important. I know that it sounds silly to say, but read the card. And because of all this logic that I'm giving you, I decided to invest my Dominus Purge on the search, which at the end of the day didn't matter that much because he had the card that he was willing to search with the Luna in order to make the plays that he wanted to do, right? So I know that it sounds kind of silly of, hey, Parnaso, but in this case and in this exchange, like, you didn't do technically anything, right? However, the important thing here is for you to understand how important it is to do these kind of techniques, because then you can see in my single 2 how doing these things will help me to win the actual duel. And then you can see how, because my opponent decided to not do these things in its own dead time, because he wasn't aware of how Jamie Fiensmith works, the same way, or maybe the same way that I wasn't aware of how the fairy tale works. What was the difference here? I use my dead time to try to understand fairy tale as much as I can, and I focus on read the cards whenever I have the opportunity to make sure in the actual duel to understand what they do and what they want to achieve in complement with the use of my dead time to try to see the patterns of the deck. He decided not to do that, and at the end of the day, that came to something that I wanted to show you real quick. Maybe I can just put it here. That will put him in this scenario when in single 3 he has a Mekaba and he has a Solemn Warning set. And what do? Well, Mekaba is an old card, so I just wanted to make sure of how it works with the negation. I decided to normal summon the Lacrima. And here my opponent could have done a lot of different things. If you see and understand how Jamie Fiensmith works, you know that normal summon Lacrima effect is not only a very big investment, but a brief showing of your opponent may having two different normal summons. And therefore here, with all of those interpretation, and if my opponent use its dead time to understand how Yami Fiensmith work, which will allow him to do by reading my cards during single 1 and single 2, to understand how big of a risk it was to make this Lacrima normal summon here, and how much of a proof is that I was shitting bricks because my hand wasn't ideal to try to push. He will have made the conclusion of making the Solemn Warning here, and then I will have been fucked because I had, what was my other way to play the game here? A Yami cookie in my hand. So you can see how these things actually matters and how these things will make you a national champion. These two secret techniques. Use the advantage of the dead time thanks to a globalized world that shares in the internet all the participants and all the decks that they are using for the top cut. And reading the card. Literally, reading the cards can make you a national champion. So if you enjoy it, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and share the channel with your people. Bye bye.